Right, and welcome back to round 5 of the Trader Share, the House of Ed. We are bringing you the last round of Swiss. This match on stream will be between So Feng and Li Jinyang. Both players are currently at 2 wins and 2 losses, so this is a potential win and in for both of them. You know, even though you've got 2 losses down, all the more reason neither of these players can afford to slack off in this game. Both players are going to want to take this game seriously if they want a shot at getting into the top 4 cut. Let's talk a bit about the teams on both players' sides. On Zinfeng's side, we see the Zamazenta, Chen Hao, Shifu Rapid Strike, Telepo, Dragonite, and Rillaboom. So default, going back to a tried and true duo of the Chen Hao Dragonite, but also featuring some very strong Pokemon that were added in later, like Urshifu, Rillaboom, and Zamazenta, all of whom can take advantage of Sword of Ruin. Meanwhile, on Zenyang's team, we have Iron Hands, Urshifu Single Strike, Mungus, Calyrex, Ice Rider, Incineroar, and most importantly, Ditto. Ditto is a very interesting, but at the same time really hard to use Pokemon because, of course, Ditto is a gimmick Pokemon. Its ability in Foster lets it transform to the Pokemon adjacent of whatever it's facing. So, turn 0 is going to be very crucially important for both players as they try and mind game what's going to be on the left, what's going to be on the right. But regardless of what's on the left, what's on the right, objectively speaking, Zinfeng's team is pretty aggressive. It aims to take as much advantage of the Sword of Ruin as possible to try and dish out a lot of hard hitting physical damage. That Incineroar on Zenyang probably has a lot of work to do once. We do see the leads here. It's going to be the Calyrex and Iron Hands lead from Zenyang, and the Urshifu and Rillaboom lead from Feng. We do see that, of course, Zenyang's team is relatively triple oriented, with both the Calyrex Ice Rider and the Iron Hands, as well as a very slow fun to fire off super fast spores on the triple. And in addition to that, we just have Incineroar generating a Pokemon, as well as Urshifu Single Strike actually on Zenyang's side. The battle of the Rapid versus the battle of the Single. Urshifu and Rillaboom, pretty solid offensively from here, though it is vulnerable to any potential restalization that can go for. But usually, use fire, so if it does Terra, it's going to weakness. So take off the Rillaboom, that's going to the Iron Hands as you turn goes into the middle, it's getting a good amount of damage. So the Iron Hands is not going to act this turn. We saw that it did not click. We saw that it did not click a priority move. But that leaves the Calyrex completely free to act this turn, which probably means, oh, it's a high horsepower going into the Rillaboom. It's not very effective move. Perhaps predicting the Rillaboom to go for Terra Fire to mitigate the damage of the Glacial Lens. It's a very reasonable predict. We do see a lot of Rillabooms going for Terra Fire. And of course, the conundrum in Calyrex Ice versus Rillaboom is always, do you want to go for Glacial Lens to just knock out the very vulnerable outside Pokemon and get a free boost? Or do you think that it goes for the Terra Fire to resist it and go for the high horsepower instead? But now, the flipper goes for Wide Guard, completely insulating them from Glacial Lens. High horsepower from the Rillaboom goes into Iron Hands. A good amount of damage there. But the Wild Charge does pick up the Pelipper in the single hit. It's not the Focus Sash Pelipper build that we commonly see. Instead, it was a Safety Wobbles build. So it's just going to go down to the Wild Charge in single hit. But Glacial Lens does go straight into the White Guard. Rillaboom doesn't take any damage this turn. Iron Hands at a pretty precarious situation right now, after taking half health from the high power and a good amount of total damage from Wild Charge. just about at 1/3 of its full health right now. For the Calyrex is still pretty healthy. It hasn't actually gotten any HP, but that doesn't change the fact that it's still a super good Pokemon, especially now that White Guts is taken out of the picture. We are going to see a Terrestrialization coming out. First Terrestrialization of round 5. It is going to be it is going to Terra into water type. It's gonna boost the power of its Surging Strikes. Probably gonna try and pick up a significant amount of damage in a minute. It's going to go into the Calyrex Ice Rider. It's going to go into every single hit of your way across. It looks like it's gonna be close. Will it pick up the Calyrex Ice Rider? It does not. Calyrex Ice Rider lives on a sliver of health, giving it just one more turn to act. The high horsepower of the moon does go into the Iron Hands, taking it out, but Calyrex Ice Rider very crucially has one move here. Is it gonna be the Trigger? Is it gonna be the Glacial Lance to try and pick out the Riddle? It is gonna be the Glacial Lance. No Trigger coming up on Xinjiang, but the Glacial Lance is going to pick up the Grass type Riddle. Not gonna do a lot of damage to the Fujimo, but it does not matter. The Riddle is down. So Xinjiang and Xinfeng trading Pokemon for Pokemon here. Calyrex getting the chilling evils, but it's a bit hard to take advantage of at such low health and with no Trigger. The Iron Hands is down, the Riddle is down, Xinfeng is down to his last Pokemon, but you see that his last Pokemon is the Summer Center waiting in the back. A Pokemon that is notoriously hard to kill, but Xinjiang just matches it with a little imposter. Now both of them have Summer Center. The real benefit of Ditto is the fact that you get access to potentially two restricted Pokemon in a one restricted format, which can just swing games so hard. But Summer Center is one of those Pokemon that really wants access to all four of its moves and not just one. The choice of Ditto is going to be hard pressed to find to decide on a move that it wants to lock in for the rest of the game, assuming it doesn't jump in. Now we see the Terrestrialization coming in from Now we see the Terrestrialization actually coming in from Xinjiang here. It's a Ghost Terra. So when you copy the Pokemon of Ditto and terrestrialize it, it actually follows the Ditto terrestrialization instead of the Terra of the Pokemon it copied. Surging Strikes under the rain is going to go into the Summer Center, bypasses the knowledge buff. This time it does take on the Summer Center into the hits under the rain, and it goes down. Another drawback of copying the Pokemon of Ditto is that Ditto can copy all of the Pokemon sets except HP, and Ditto doesn't have a very high HP stat for most of. Summer Center going for the body pressure is going to take on the Calyrex at super low health, and it does look like Xinfeng is in a very commanding position here. Both of his Pokemon being faster than pretty much anything Xinjiang has in the back. It is going to be the Urshifu single strike for Xinjiang as last Pokemon remaining. Urshifu single strike obviously doesn't have a super amazing time facing down a Summer Center. Summer Center, one of those Pokemon that's notoriously hard to kill. It can definitely take a close combat if it needs to, but no, it does not. The Choice Scarf, Terra Water Urshifu under the rain is just going to very handily take out the single strike Urshifu in 3 hits of Surging Strikes. That Terra Water Surging Strikes under the rain just does so much damage. It almost killed the Calyrex. It took out the Summer Center and it took out the Super Strike Urshifu. Moving forward into the next games, I feel like that Surging Strikes, the potential of Surging Strikes under the rain is something that Xinjiang is going to be very, very acutely aware of going into Game 2 and a potential Game 3. How will we see both players adjust? We'll talk more about my opinions on both players' teams and their Pokemon choices in the previous round here, but since both players can hear me, that's probably not a very good idea. Right, but it seems like even without my input, both players have a pretty good read of what Pokemon they want to bring into Game 2. So let's go into Swiss Round 5, Game 2 between Xinfeng and Xinjiang. Are both players going to maintain the same lead as before, or are they going to switch it up? from Cataracts and Iron Hands same thing as before. Well, meanwhile, from Zenfeng's side, we see Pelipper and Urshifu Rapid Strike. So, I believe that Surging Strikes under the ring has done so much for Zenfeng in game 1 is supposedly determined to try and capitalize on it very early on in game 2 when Xinjiang State not really any point of the game. But it does seem not going to get current game, lower accuracy in the range, goes into the Canary and Ice Rider. It's going to take it pretty well, and the Canary is going to set the trick. The trick that did not go out the previous game is going up in game 2. So this is going to very drastically change the outcome of the game. Xinjiang's team does be better in trick group, of course. Now the Canary is the fastest performer on the field, and you can see the prime position in everything in season. But Pelipper is still alive. He can always wipe out. He's going to defend his Pokemon against his defense and force nothing but super target, which in Xinjiang's case is going to be like in high horsepower. It's going to need that wild charge from the Iron Hands to take out the Pelipper if he wants Cataract's Ice Rider to win the further. Glacial Lens is going to go straight into the white guard, nothing. But the position of this turn and the sequence from Pelipper and Cataract's, that is Iron Hands may be correct. Is it going to be a wall charge in the Pelipper trying to take it out? It is a wall charge, but it goes into what's the urge? It's not. And the Red takes the wild charge with a little bit under half health taken, even after a critical hit. Pelipper still alive, managed to get it safely. And now it is Redoboom's first turn on the field, so the fake option is always there for Zenfeng at this point. Pelipper has options at its disposal, sure. But now the Pelipper going for a second white guard. As long as it continues to white guard, it cannot be hit by Glacial Lens, and as a blind dive, it cannot be hit by high horsepower. It's a second Glacial Lens. It goes straight into the white guard, and the Iron Hand is split because of fake down. Honestly, this seems like a pretty intense sequence of both players, but we have stalled our 1000 of rain, and we've seen a bit of intention from both players. The grassy terrain also has the opportunity Redoboom and crucially Cataract's Ice Rider and Iron Hand just a little bit. Both Cataract's Ice Rider and Iron Hands are terribly tanky Pokemon, and even just a bit of healing can go a long way with these Pokemon with absurd HP totals and great defensive stats. Right, Terrestrialization coming out. It is going to be on from the side. Terra is cutting the Terra ground and see perhaps really a wild charge to go into the Pelipper's turn. If so, it is going to be a very good Terra. The Pelipper is going to stay there and continue being a nuisance to the Cataract's Ice Rider, who cannot use Glacial Lens as long as there's a white guard on the field. And so we haven't seen what Redoboom is going to do. I assume it's going to high horsepower. The wall charge does go into the Pelipper, and it goes straight into the ground Terra. Really good read from Zenfeng here. He had to be feeling really good about that move. The high horsepower goes into the Iron and takes up half of its health, but it's going to get just a little bit of relief from the grassy terrain that is sitting on the field. So far, Zenfeng has navigated his Pelipper very well, but now, after Terra lost its ground ability, so Terra actually is winning the Pelipper now, which he does recognize. He goes for a high horsepower into the Pelipper and Great Punch into the Redoboom, kept spreading out his attacks, spreading out his damage, getting a little bit more healing onto the Iron Hand so he can perhaps lift another high horsepower. Yep, that seems to be enough for him to lift just one more high horsepower, and yes, the Iron Hand survives by just a little bit. And the rain does stop. That Pelipper is a little over half health. It's a little bit of healing now that it's a grounded Pokemon from the grassy terrain. And at this point, Trick Room goes back to normal. Oh, it's like 5 turns. It passes by in the blink of an eye, doesn't it? now certain adventures back to normal. Speed control kind of back in Zinfeng's favor. It's almost like speed control was never a super big factor in the previous return because every single mission is fight by the enemy ice just been going into those white guards. High horsepower from the now faster with the group was the IS and knocks it out. Calyrex Ice going for a trick room this time, setting up 4 turns of trick room to operate under. So we have to wonder whether Xinjiang has also adjusted the rest of his team. Maybe brought some slow Pokemon like the Amogus or Simple to capitalize more heavily off of the trick room. Not here. Instead, we do see Urshifu single strike coming out. Urshifu not the slowest Pokemon around to be sure. However, he is still in full health and the force to be reckoned with, especially against Rillaboom and Pelipper. Neither appear to exert enough pressure to KO the opponent, especially since Pelipper, although it's going extremely far by using white guards to protect all these glacial lenses, it's kind of also locked in a prison of its own thinking as you continue to use white guard. Otherwise Simple just risks getting double used by the glacial lenses. Keeping down the Pelipper is also with ice. You can see Wicked Blow coming out of Urshifu. Just 4 thought of KOing the Pelipper. Simple has access to 1 more white guard if he chooses. Urshifu kind of the slowest Pokemon out here under Trick Room. Urshifu going for an attack, doesn't want to lose his Urshifu early to a potential attack. Pelipper going for another white guard here. What will Calyrex Ice go for this time? Is it going to be another shot? No, it's going to be high horsepower. Picking up the low health Pelipper, there's going to be no more white guard on Simpo's side. And with, I think, 2 more turns are tricking for the field, Xinjiang may just be free now to fire off some very, very meaningful +1 off of the Chilling the Glacial Lenses. The Woodhammer does go into the protect on the single track Urshifu. Now with 2 turns of trick room left, it does look like Xinjiang is trying to get himself into a more domineering position here. However, it will just reveal that his last Pokemon, the Summer Center, is not going to just sit there and die to Glacial Lenses. It's a resistant move, it's +1, it's going to take Glacial Lenses really well, but maybe not that high horsepower, you know. And Pelipper may have been done, but Summer Center is another Pokemon that also carries White Guard. So although Pelipper is down, the White Guard option is absolutely not out. 2 more turns of tricking from Xinjiang is fine. He's in the dominating position here, but how long will that last? The Summer Center does go for the white guard option. 1 white guard is down, he just goes into another. The high horsepower does so much damage to the Summer Center. How strong of this Ice Rider is, doing so much damage to such a tanky Pokemon with the invisible hit no less. The Woodhammer on the tree isn't 100% try and knocks it out before it can do anything. Rillaboom takes a bit more damage, but should be an inconsequential amount of damage. The Ditto coming out from Xinjiang's side is going to copy the Summer Center at +1, but with a Choice Scarf, it's not going to do a lot under Trick Room. But fortunately for Xinjiang, there's only 1 more turn of Trick Room left. Will he be able to capitalize on it well? So that high horsepower did just so much damage to the Summer Center. Even with a +1, even being one of the most defensive Pokemon in the game, one of the hardest Pokemon to one-shot, and one of the hardest Pokemon to just target with physical attacks in general. You can never be too comfortable with your restricted legendary in the face of enough restricted who can pump out the damage to match your defense. Very tense. Players take their time to throw moves. Right, it's gonna be the white guard from Simple Summer Center. He is not letting go of that white guard button. He does not want to take Glacial Lenses, but he's not going for Glacial Lenses. He's going for High Horsepower. High Horsepower, the second hit is enough to bring down Summer Center, so Simple Restricted is now down and out. Trick Room is about to expire, but Rillaboom giving one more before. It's gonna be High Horsepower to the Ditto, but without the sheer power of Calyrex Ice having that +1 attack off of a 165 attack stat, it's not going to do a lot to Ditto Summer Center. The Twisted Dimensions are going to return to normal, and Summer Center on Xinjiang's side, the stolen Summer Center is probably now going to be the fastest Pokemon in the field. what we see on Zinfeng's side. Urshifu is going to be the last Pokemon to take center stage. However, unlike in Game 1, there is no rain to take advantage of here. So it is still very much Young's win. That body presses so much damage to Urshifu, bringing it down to low health. The Surging Strikes is going into the Ditto. Even if it takes it out, it doesn't look like it's going to take it out, but even if it does, the Cataract's Ice has a free move this turn. It's going to go for the Glacial Lens, only high horsepower. Probably the Glacial Lens, the perfect accuracy move, although it's going to go for the high horsepower, taking out the Urshifu Rapid Strike and securing in game 2 for Young. These players are neck and neck, and they're going to go into a decisive game 3 for a chance at a win in it. Very excellent showing from both players here. I think the several turns in Trade Group definitely paid off for Xinjiang. Even if he wasn't able to capitalize off of it for quite a few turns because of constant white guarding from Zinfeng, he was able to just make just enough out of it to be able to eke out a victory in this all-important round 5 game 2. And if in game 3, we'll be seeing if both players choose to go the same Pokemon or if they're going to adjust this time. The Ditto of Pokemon that's so difficult to pilot, but you know, it didn't do all that much in game 1, but in game 2, it definitely pulled its weight. It pulled Zama's Center's weight technically. Right. Both players actually taking a relatively short time to lock in their Pokemon choices. We are going into round 5 game 3, the final game of Swiss over here at the Tradition and House of N. It's going to be the same Cataracts and Iron Hand beats from Zinfeng, but it's going to be the Shinfao Dragonite from Zinfeng. Pokemon we actually haven't seen throughout the entire round 5. Previously, it was always a Summer Center, Urshifu, Pelipper, and Rillaboom, but now he's forgone a bit of like the defensive lead to just go for the Shinfao Dragonite. A lead that has been tried and true since, you know, Regulation C even, when Shinfao was first made legal. These two Pokemon have been making waves, and they will continue to do so. As we see a turn 1 terrestrialization coming out from Zinfeng over here. It's gonna be the Shinfao, it's gonna tear out into Ghost. That's gonna make it immune to any fake outs or big punches coming in from Xinjiang. But he might read that and go for a Bolton instead, who knows? It's gonna be the Cataracts protecting. The Dragonite is in a focus, so it's gonna be immune to a fake out. Dragonite goes for the extreme speed. It does go into the protect from Cataracts Ice Rider, but because he has to spend a turn to protect, that also means it is not going to set up a trigger this turn. Maybe that's a fair trade. Zinfeng does go for the throw chop into the Cataracts. Doesn't do a lot of damage. Drain punch, you know, chip out not into it. Kind of forced to go into the Dragonite instead. There's a bit of damage. There's no bounty skill to break, but any damage is good damage. It's kind of a net zero turn. Dragonite is taking a bit of damage, but more importantly, there's no more fake out from Iron Hands. There is no more Cataracts is already used to protect. So going for another protect on the Cataract is going to be a very risky endeavor. Alright, now it's the youngster to terrestrialize. And it's going to be Terra on the Cataract's Ice Rider, bringing it to a Terra Fire. Losing its psychic weakness and well, there's no normal weakness to speak of. Actually, it does do good damage. Oh, it seems like terrestrializing out of the dark weakness was extremely crucial for the survival here. The wild charge does go into the Shinfao, fails to pick up the KO, but now Cataract's free to act. Glacial Lens goes into one Pokemon, picks up the KO on both Shinfao and Dragonite. That Cataracts is going to get so much attack off of that one move. Both Shinfao and Dragonite, you know, the leads here from both of them, the lead is always strong, but after tearing out of your ice resistance, and Dragonite just naturally being 4 times weak from ice, it's never had to contend with a Pokemon like this before, up until Regulation G. The last two Pokemon we see on Zinfeng's side, the last two Pokemon that carry his hopes of the win and it are going to be Pelipper and Zamazenta. See the Dormant Shield giving it the +1 defense, and we see Pelipper setting up the raid, but there's no Urshifu to take advantage of it this time. Now Summer Center is gonna have an even harder time trying to survive against the Cataract's Ice Rider after it's gotten not a +1 but a +2 boost. However, instead of taking advantage of that attack, Cataract's Ice Rider is gonna protect against any potential body presses or heavy stand down as Summer Center this turn. But body press does very accurately go into the Iron Hands instead, as well as the Weather Ball. So Zinfeng correctly reading the protect from Cataracts there, but even 2 attacks from both the Panther at the Summer Center isn't enough to take out the tanky behemoth that is Iron Hands. It's most likely going to knock itself out with the recoil damage from Wild Charge instead, and yes it does, the Panther falls and so does the Iron Hands. But Zinfeng has one Summer Center up against Xinyang's Cataract's Ice at +2. Terra Fire, so it's no longer weak to Heavy Slam. As well as 2 Pokemon at the back, it's gonna be the Ditto from Xinyang. It's gonna copy the Summer Center, becoming a faster, not saying stronger, but definitely faster version of it. And now Zinfeng faces a very uphill battle, having to fight off 2 restricted Pokemon at once in a 1 restricted format. The faster Ditto goes for the body press, that does a huge amount of damage. Summer Center just has so much riding on that massive defense net. The body press once it goes original Summer Center goes into Cataract's Ice, who has already used the protect, and the Cataract's Ice falls. But it does look like the riding from the wall here. Zinfeng has no more defense. Zinfeng has no more defensive Pokemon on his side. The Ditto copying Summer Center is always going to outspeed it. It's always going to knock it out with body press. And yes, that is exactly what we see. The Ditto outspeeds Summer Center, goes for the body press, and Zinfeng's last Pokemon falls. So Zinfeng goes 3-2 with a chance of winning it. Congratulations to Zinfeng congratulations to Xinyang for such a good showing, and to Zinfeng for clutching it out in that game 1. But unfortunately, Xinyang just, the superior navigator at the end of the day. Really good showing from both players nonetheless, and definitely a showing to be proud of for both players. As the Swiss rounds come to a close, at least for the street, both players kind of just sitting in quiet contemplation, thinking about what could have been done better, thinking about what can be done better for their next event, already trying to work out how to improve from here. It's a constant road of self-improvement for anyone who wants to up their game and become even better at the game that they already are. After wins and losses, you just need to constantly consider your next event, your next game even. Especially for people who are going to be in Hawaii in 3 weeks for the conventions. This is something that's definitely going to weigh on your minds. After every game, does it change your view on how the meta looks like? And does it change how you're going to build your team? All these things are very important for all of our perspective towards candidates. That is it for Swiss. And I will see you again for top 4 top card of the trainer shed at House of N. Stay tuned.